I guess I think I hit the jackpot. So, Galant over here. Check this out. Completely uncracked dashboard. I didn't come here for a dash, but I might be taking this out. These are really hard to find. All right, guys, so really about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes later, I got the dash, I got my seat rails, I got the trim piece, I got the e-brake. I really got a lot. I got lucky today. Got in and out, found what I needed, and a few things I really didn't. I can head back home and start putting these things on the Galant. All right, guys, we're back home, so you take a look at the dash. I was able to get it out without cracking it. It's actually in pretty good condition. I did damage it a little bit just by running up against something. But the plan for this is actually have this wrapped. I'm going to wrap this myself, like with some black leather vinyl or something. And I did get some seat rails to replace the ones that I butchered. These actually came out of a 9th-gen Galant. So like I said, so fortunately for me, these will work. I got the e-brake because, again, it's black from the Eclipse. And this I'm actually putting up for sale to kind of fund all these projects. Also picked up these. I don't know why they didn't make the Galant available with black interior, but a lot of stuff from the Eclipse fits. So I got, of course, the door handles and these little trim pieces that go around the door handles. These are a direct swap. As you can see, there's just, for the handle, there are 2 bolts. There's actually some cables that go in the back of it that connect it. And there's 1 bolt for this trim piece. So I'm gonna show you guys how to knock that out. Now, of course, if you don't want to do all this, you could paint all these parts. But being that this stuff is black from the factory, it'll hold up a lot longer. These parts are already like 15 years old and they're still holding their colors. Whereas if you paint them, they're not gonna last that long. I've painted some interior pieces before, just like the dash and whatnot. And eventually, depending on how much wear they get, they will crack. So where I can, I'm gonna try to replace them with these factory parts and maybe paint or wrap some other parts that aren't gonna get as much use. But before I get to the seats, I'm actually gonna do these. These should be pretty quick installs. So what I have is a steering wheel from a 3rd-gen Eclipse and the black seat belts. So as you know, if you have a Galant, it didn't come with the option of having black interior. It was either tan or gray. These seat belts should be a direct swap. I don't remember if the rears fit or not, but I actually went ahead and got them because I figured worst case scenario, I can just take them back. The steering wheel, which I'm gonna do first, is actually a direct swap. So for this, all you'll need is a T30 Torx bit to take the airbag off. And those are gonna be in those holes, and I'll show you that on the Galant. And a 17mm socket to take the nut off that actually attaches the steering wheel to the car. So we've got a Torx bit, it's a T30, that's here on this hole. And then right here above the stalk. We're gonna take both of those out. And of course, before you do this, you wanna make sure your battery's unplugged. And then once we loosen those, we better pull the airbag right out. All right, so I took both the Torx bits off. And like I said, you just pull on it and the airbag comes out. You can see right here is where those Torx bits were. They'll be able to pull free, the airbag will pull free. And then we're gonna take this nut off here. Now when you do this, you wanna make sure your wheel is straight before you put your new wheel on. We're gonna unplug this plug here for the airbag. We're actually gonna unplug it from the back of the airbag and then take this nut off, and then we'll replace it with the Eclipse wheel. I did have to hit the outside of the steering wheel just to pull it off because it was kind of stuck, but I got it off. Pretty simple process. Like I said, I'm gonna make sure my clock spring is straight up and down. The new steering wheel will just slide on. Now I'm gonna feed these wires through first. So there we go. Like I said, it slides on pretty easily, and we're just gonna reconnect all our plugs. Well, I got the 2 plugs hooked up, and now we're just gonna put this back in and then tighten our Torx bit. All right, guys, so I'm gonna show you how to replace your Galant belts, your Galant seat belts, with the black ones from the Eclipse. And I got these from the Junkyard. They're like $12 a piece. And you wanna make sure you get the whole unit. And it's really just 3 bolts. There's gonna be 1 down here, that's underneath this cover. There's gonna be 1 up here, and there's gonna be another one behind this plastic piece. It's gonna hold this on. And then for some reason, there's a Phillips head screw right there on the unit behind here. Now, I took my seat out because I'm working on the interior anyway. You may not have to do it, but it would be a lot easier. It does make it a lot easier to get to this trim piece. So I'm gonna go ahead, and this just pulls out. I did find it easier because I already did the other side to open this back door and pry this out. But you can really just get a trim panel tool or something behind it, pull on it, and work your way around the back. I said, so you do have to open the door, and once you pop that trim panel off, this is what you're looking at. So like I said, you can see the unit down here. It runs up. So it's actually pretty straightforward. Once you take that piece off, you just need to take off, like I said, the 1, 2, 3, and then the bolt that's gonna be behind this thing. And again, you pop this off with a flathead screwdriver and you just swap it out for the Eclipse piece. Like, all right, guys, so there we go. About 5 minutes later, the new belts are in. Plus, you do want to test to make sure they work and they lock properly. It's pretty simple. Now these do have an R and an L on them, so I'm not sure if it makes any difference. I was looking at the units; they look the same on both sides, but I went ahead and matched up just the L with the driver's side and the R with the passenger side. And that's all there's to that. So now I've got the steering wheel installed, I've got the seat belts installed. All right, so for the door, it's actually pretty simple. So on the door, there's a couple Phillips head screws. They've got caps on them, which I didn't even notice these were still on here, but there's one here, here. I don't think there's one on the bottom. The bottom should just be push clips, and then one here. So it looks like in all I have about 3 clips, and then there's a screw behind here in the door. So this has to come out. I believe there's a screw down in here. Yeah, there's a screw down here in this little cup. It's gonna have to come out as well. You're gonna have to pull kind of hard, but you still wanna be careful not to break, because this stuff is held in by plastic. To get these off, I took the screw out. These, again, they just pop out. You kind of have to open the door handle, slide these out around them. So that's all that's to that. And you can just swap these out if you like the two-tone look like that. So that really doesn't look bad, but I am gonna go ahead and take the door off and replace these. And that these may even fit the rear doors as well. Obviously the Eclipse only has 2 doors. So, and I wasn't able to find another Eclipse that had these intact, but I can see if these fit, and then next time I go, see if I can find 2 more. So you look at the back, like I said, it's almost identical. I'm pretty confident that these will fit these, but I'm gonna go ahead and see. So we're in luck. The pieces are the same between the front and the rear, and it looks like the door handles behind them are too. So the next time I find another Eclipse, I'll go ahead and pull the pieces off of those. That way I can have a full set of black handles and trim pieces. If you don't wanna go all black, I think the ones from the Diamante are chrome, and the memory serves, they fit in here too. So if you want to go chrome and black, that's an option too. All right, so now that I got all the screws off, I'm going to start from the bottom and kind of pull out and up. I might not be able to do this with one hand. After you get the bottom of it free, you just lift up on the top of it. And again, I'm going to need 2 hands for this, but you can just lift it up after you get the bottom free. So once the bottom's free, there's a cable that runs to your switches, your window switches, and this is what you're looking at behind the door. So this is what the back of the door looks like. Like I said, these are the little plastic clips that hold them in. So I did break this one pulling out. Now, not really going to worry about that. I think I'm missing one here too. That might actually still be stuck in the door. But you can see there's not much to it. This is all just a piece of pressed or stamped plastic, molded plastic. And this has got some staples in it on the fabric part of the door. Not much to this door. All right, so the door handle's off. You just have these 2 little rods. They run to these little plastic pieces back here. You just pry those out and pop them out. And there is the old door handle, and here's the new door handle. So the new one does have this extra piece. I don't think this is going to be an issue, but you can see the holes and all the tabs and everything else are the same. So I might have to cut this off. I don't think I will, but again, that's no big deal. This metal is pretty thin. All right, so what I did notice is that as I try to kind of move this, it wants to get stuck. And look, because the Eclipse bracket actually has this little bit here on the back where these cables go through, and the Galant one doesn't. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and trim this bottom one off. All right, so this side's all done. Everything works like it should. They just repeat the steps on the other side. All right, guys, so that's it. Some simple, quick, and really cheap modifications that can really transform the inside of your Galant. This is really only gonna be part 1 of this series. Of course, now that I found that harness from the Eclipse and I have the dash, I'm gonna go ahead, head out to the fabric store and try to wrap my dash. It was my first time trying that, so we'll really see how that turns out, as well as getting the seats in. Now, originally I had planned to get the seats in this video, but they're gonna take a little bit more fabrication than I initially thought. So I went ahead and ordered some seat brackets for racing seats, and I'm gonna use those to help establish the base, and then make my brackets for the Eclipse seats on top of those. So every day we're getting closer and closer to the turbo build, and we're really just a couple days from really getting into that. I'm gonna pull the dash out to wrap it, and then when I do that, of course, I'll replace the harness. I did buy an upgraded clutch. I hate to admit it, but I really should have listened to Trey in the first place, because initially I was just gonna run a stock clutch, which has like a 200 foot-pound torque rating, and I hadn't planned on running a whole lot of boost, because originally I was gonna go with like a simple Evo setup. But my plans changed really because a transaction didn't go through. I had to wait several months just to get a refund, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that's why I ended up going with that T3 turbo I showed you guys in the last video. So since I already have to pull the dash out to get to the harness and I have to change the clutch, it'll be easier for me just to pull the entire engine. So I'm going to do that. So if this video helped you at all, make sure you let your friends know. Make sure you subscribe, share my videos. Let me know what you really want to see. Maybe you want to see some more in-depth stuff. I was thinking of maybe doing some shorter more in-depth videos and just have more of them as I start the turbo process. And of course, with the Galant, there's not a whole lot of bolt-on parts you can buy. A lot of it's going to have to be fabricated. So I feel like that might be a better solution. And just kind of show you guys what I'm working with here. We're getting a lot of videos out there. And hopefully can build the community back up. Like, I'm really teaching people in the process. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.